Bullying is rampant in many of our schools, in the classroom, and even on the internet. In a recent program of Brooklyn 45, a very bright sixth grade public school student was close to tears when he said he is always being bullied at his school. However, in some schools in Brooklyn, teachers and students are taking on the bullies through programs approved by the Department of Education and some in collaboration with the Brooklyn District Attorney's Office. In this program, we'll hear how much of a problem bullying is in our schools and what's being done about it. My guests are Nairan Phard and Jeremiah Hyde, two students who've recently recorded an anti-bullying rap video. Malachi Townsley, a student who's been a victim of bullying, his mother Cassandra Townsley, Genevieve Berretta, a public school teacher, and Assistant District Attorney Frank Laghezza, who heads a special unit in the District Attorney's Office that's focused on putting an end to bullying in our schools. Well, let me begin with our teacher, where bullying is a problem. I know before we came on the air, I told you a story of my being bullied when I was a youngster in school. But how bad is the bullying problem in your school?
You know, we have a Peace Builders pledge that we recite every day, and from our perspective, that's something every day we begin our day. You know, I'm a peace builder. I pledge to praise people, give up put-downs, notice and speak up about hurts I have caused, to right wrongs, help others. I will choose peace at home and school and in my community each day. We pledge this every day, and our halls are quiet, our children are peaceful and respectful. But of course, I don't live the day in, day out lives that the children do out there in the schoolyards. In our particular school, having a Peace Builders curriculum, I believe, makes a difference in our school.
What's the bullying stories that you hear? And what's the bullying incidents that you come across?
And I have to say, thank goodness, in our particular school, it is rare. We come across situations where children will make unkind comments to another child. Perhaps shunning might be something that a child, you know, girls might shun another girl. And when someone seeks out a wise person, which, of course, I say is me in the classroom, you know, you kind of take the children aside and have that conversation. And as I said to Malachi, I will always tell a child, don't cry, don't give the diamonds of your soul to a child who doesn't deserve the diamonds of your soul, your tears. So, you know, kind of having those conversations, and that children can be very mean, but don't become a mean child. So we're always going to address it and speak to the child, and, you know, they'll notice and speak up about the hurt that they have caused and accept responsibility. Thank goodness in our school, it's a beautiful school, but again, the guys might have a different experience.
Sure. Well, let me hear Malachi's experience. I know that you've been bullied in your school. What school are you in, Malachi?
Right now, presently, the school that I am in is in Medgar Evers, and the school that I just came out of last year was PS3, and I entered the school PS3 in 2nd grade, and the 3rd day I was there, I was being bullied and harassed. So it was a rough experience being bullied for 4 years, going on 5. And
how rough was it?
It was very rough. There were different situations, like the teachers would bully me, the kids would be encouraged to bully me and lie on me. Sometimes they would lie on me, and the teachers didn't want to hear my side of the story. They only listened to the kids. And there was also some times where there were different, like, gangs that were bullying in the park, and since nobody did anything about it, and I knew that it would have excelled, and it could have became a big issue. I decided that I would stop it.
How did you stop it? That's interesting. How did you stop it? And I see you laughing, so come on.
I have to admit, some of the times I did toss people around, shook them up a bit, and said, chill. But most of the time, I pretty much settled it with nonviolence.
Okay. That's one of the reasons why you did that wonderful poem for Martin Luther King celebration, and we talk about that a little later on. But let me hear from your mom. I see your mom there, all smiles. how did you react? How did you respond to your son's Malachi's problems?
Well, I would, frequently communicate or try to communicate with the schools, with the teachers, with the principal, and I've found that, in some cases it helped. In some cases it seemed to be just a forum just to kind of, pacify things for the time, but nothing was really being done. And what was disturbing is there was, several times when I would go to check on Malachi, especially being a younger child. He's in the bathroom, he's quiet. I'm calling, Malachi. I don't hear him responding. And then all of a sudden, I'll enter the bathroom and he's sitting in the tub in tears. And I'm like, what's the matter, Malachi? He says, I cannot take this anymore. And there's, I have documented, things on, different situations and issues that he's gone through, and it's not an isolated case. It's not an isolated story. I've shared stories with other parents, from the past school and from other schools who've experienced the same thing. Now, I am in no way trying to say all schools, all teachers are bad, because you have wonderful teachers. As a matter of fact, I am very much satisfied with the school that he attends now. I think they're absolutely wonderful. And is everything perfect there? No. Children are children. I grew up in the DOE system.
Before we go to your story on growing up, let me ask the Assistant District Attorney to jump in here. The stories that you've heard, and I know you are responsible for a very special service to deal with bullying. How do you respond to some of these? And I know that you've been seeing.
Bullying takes place pretty much the same as you and I when we were younger. The thing is that electronics and gaming and media have all played an integral part in changing it and amplifying it to a certain extent. I've been called into kindergarten classes where principals have said that they've had bullying problems, where a kindergarten girl will be crying because one of her classmates has said things like, if I don't give him my lunch money, he said he won't be my friend. Now, if you share that story with a sixth grader, they're going to be, thinking that that's a funny kind of little story. And the thing is to educate, because bullying, sometimes you don't even know it, but can sometimes start at home or sometimes on the playground, even before kids get into school. And what happens is we need to make teaching moments. We need to help our parents and help our teachers understand that bullying can do tremendous amounts of damage. We've seen it in some of the children that are teenagers that we've lost. What we see in the newspaper, the children that are no longer with us, there are many more in between there. So this is a serious problem. It needs to start when they're young. When the 4-year-old sister says to the 2-year-old sister, give me my doll back or I'll hit you, it's at that point that we as parents, we as educators, because parents are really their child's first teacher, need to be able to go in and make sure on two different fronts. One is that the older child or the child with power understands that that's not something that's going to be tolerated, and that when they have a problem, to handle that problem, they need to come to the adult. And the same thing for the younger child. We need to make sure that they understand that might isn't just right, because when that older child does damage, whether it's enforcing by intimidating physically or by hitting, they're learning at a very young age what the lay of the land is, who's in charge, and when they see family members interacting like that. So first is to educate parents a little bit about how to become better, because many cultures, many different groups say, you need to hit, you need to enforce that. Sometimes that may not necessarily be the way to go. In schools, we have many great teachers. We're in the company of one now. She's done tremendous work with the children that are in front of us that you're going to get to talk about. But we also have some inexperienced teachers that need to understand some of the nuances that she has learned over the years. Mm-hmm. Teachers and schools sometimes create their own little cliques by having the children sit together all year long. I've asked my child, well, do you know all the kids in your class? No, I only know one section because we all sit in the same seats. So now she doesn't get to know any of the others. As a matter of fact, this is Respect for All Week from the Department of Education. And we applaud the Department of Education for making it something that sometimes we can get kids to understand how important it is to respect each other. But in some schools, it's a year-long process.
Yes.
In other schools, it's not. It's only for this week. And what we need to do is start educating not just the kids, but also our parents and also our teachers in what to look for in terms of bullying, how to correct it. Because if children ask for help and we don't give it to them, then they'll take matters into their own hands.
And then they come back to
the
law.
And now it comes back to the law. I
I
had a wonderful opportunity about a month ago to meet with Governor Patterson while he was still governor. And what he described as a child growing up was that he repeatedly explained to adults that he was having a problem with someone. And that was not taken care of. Neither his parents nor the school were able to accommodate it, and he took matters into his own hands. And in just a matter of seconds, he took care of it physically. Now, today, he would have probably been arrested.
Different story.
Right. It would have been totally a big problem.
Yes.
So to get children, and experts tell us that we can't get children to do it. That's why we go out, and when I say we, I mean we have a number of assistant district attorneys on staff that are trained to go out and talk to kids, show video clips specifically of situations in which kids might get themselves into. And during the course of that say, we need you to grow up before your time. There were 5 young ladies down in Florida who thought they were being bullied, invited that young lady into her house, closed the door, beat her up, taped it, put it on YouTube. The bullies were the one that wound up getting arrested, not the bully.
Yeah.
So we need to address and teach kids that when adults have problems, if I look under my sink and it's leaking, I call a plumber. If my children are sick, I go out and I get them to a doctor.
If they have problems, they need to be able to call the teacher.
And that's the adult way of doing things.
Sure.
If there's a problem out on the street, we get a police officer. We need to educate our children that this is what they need to do. And the reason why it's so different is because the electronics and the media. The stuff that they're watching now, the games that they're playing, many of them are rated M for mature audiences, meaning 17 or above. The games that they're playing, the things that they're seeing on regular TV is showing them over and over again how bullying and how acting in a mean sort of way can get you what you want.
And that becomes their reality.
Right. So we had a 16-year-old child who was being bullied at school, being bullied at home, on the internet, on his computer. He sent out a message that he was going to bring a gun to school and shoot it up. And what wound up happening was that bully actually told his parent, who told the principal, who told the police, who then came to us. In a matter of hours, we can find out exactly where that child was. We had search warrants and arrest warrants. We went into the home and arrested that child, just based upon those statements.
Sure.
No one would ever want another Columbine. And we, in Brooklyn, take our job seriously to ensure that kids are safe.
And kids and parents and teachers must understand that as as Ms. Berretta, I know you wanted to say something.
I know, I just wanted to interject. Actually, today there was a situation in school. One of my students came to me and told me of a situation where she was indeed bullied by a 3rd grader, and this was a 4th grader. And I said to my student, I said, write down immediately exactly what that child did to you, what she said, where you were exactly, that setting. I mean, again, it's a teachable moment. I want every specific detail. And then we had the other little girl down to the principal's office. We have this little girl with her narrative, which is a piece of writing, very specific, very clear, signed. And then looking for the bully to accept responsibility as part of, and then we praise you for accepting that responsibility, but recognize what you've done has hurt this child. And my student who wrote it, it was very clear, very specific, exactly in the bathroom, what happened, the verbs, everything that went on in this situation. And that is how so it's very rare that that happens to me, that a child will in that situation. And I got right on the phone to the principal and said, send her right down, and, you know, kind of we'll take care of that. But there'll be repercussions, and she'll be suspended out of classroom, and we certainly do that.
Your kids have been taking some very positive action to defeat these bullies. I know we haven't heard from Nairan or from Jeremiah. Raise your hands.
Jeremiah.
Okay. I know you're going to raise your hands a little while. I want to hear your rap video, but first of all, tell me a little about yourself. Let's begin with you, Jeremiah.
My name is Jeremiah Hyde. I'm 12. I go to IS 109. So about bullying, when we heard about it in 5th grade and at PS 119, me and Nairan thought about, oh, let's take action to this, not just leave it alone and then let, like, others decide to do something and, like, they don't, like, do the right thing. Like, while they're trying to help discourage bullying, then they're actually, like, telling the other kids what to do, like, to fight back, not to, like, speak up, say something to the adult, like, just take your own actions, fight back. We don't say that. We tell them to ignore. If that doesn't work, then tell the teacher or a wise person.
That's right. Nairan?
I'm Nairan Phard, and I'm 11, and I go to Cunningham IS 234. And before Miss Berretta informed us about the contest, we learned about bullying like far before, and we already knew what cyberbullying and things like that were, and everybody in our class had to submit a video, and we had the most videos for the whole contest itself, and everybody in the class tried to put in a contribution to the videos that we tried to create. They tried to write poems, speeches, reactions to what happened or what they seen.
I want to hear what you did. And then I want you to tell me how I can see it on the internet. Because I know that you're on YouTube, correct?
Yeah.
Good. So perform your winning competition piece.
All right, we're going to stand.
Yes, go ahead.
Just do the rap. All right, ready, go. Yeah. Yeah. We're bullies. Yeah, bullying is cool. We get to run across the street, and we get to catch those kids. Right, man, right? Right? What? Right? Aren't we supposed to make a rap about anti-bullying? Oh, I got an idea. Yo, man, drop a beat. Bullying is bad, it makes me sad. Bullying is cruel, it's not even cool. Bullying is mean, it makes me want to scream. Try to run away, they catch you every day. They steal your lunch money, rain or sunny. Bullying must end, bullies must make friends. Some people cry, and some people want to die. For real, hey bullies, you don't know how it feels, because you've always still. Instead of learning and concerning, you call people names that act like a gang. Hey bullies, one question, why do you hit, why do you kick? Oh, because you think you're slick. It's not the end. Just go outside and try to make a friend. Don't slap us down. Pick them up. Learn something about candy. Don't treat kids like a slave. Is this the way that you act so brave? Kids don't stand near them. Don't take the blame. Don't play the game. Try to use a geometric solid. Then you might get some core knowledge. Help spread the word about bullying. Ever hear about anti-bullying? Yeah, we got our own group now. Plus you stop. It's never too late. Give it a shot.
Yes. 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 Love it.
They have one
Love
part.
it.
They
Love
pledge.
it.
They have a pledge.
Now, how can we see this on YouTube?
Yeah. You could type in Nairan and Jeremiah anti-bullying rap, and then you would see a whole bunch of other kids making bully raps. Yeah. And then when you click on that, you can see their video, and then you would see other videos, and then you'll see us.
Okay. We're going to put it on our website as well, so that we can connect to that. I want to hear the Assistant District Attorney talking about responding to what you just did. But first of all, Malachi, what do you feel about this?
I feel that this is very good. And I'd say that this, I'd hope, could be encouraging to bullies to turn away from doing different things. Because there are many reasons why there are bullies out here. Like, also, as I was getting dressed for a dance today, there were some of the kids, how they sometimes play fight, but these kids were the bullies for me, who like to bully me. And while they were doing all that, sometimes they diss each other, and one kid dissed about someone else's mom, and then that's when they got to dispute, and the kid that guy's mom dissed, he said that at the age of 2 his parents were split, and the other kid, he never knew his parents. He lives with strangers. And when I heard
Go on.
When I heard about this, it was just kind of unbearable. I just broke down into tears because it was just painful to, even if they do hate me, it's just the fact that they are hurting and all that.
Yes, yes.
And then also the kid who lives with strangers, he also told me why the kids bully me so much, and it's because that I'm not someone who has my parents split up, and me, I have pretty much a good life, and
So
I was
people are
telling
jealous,
them.
and people,
Yes.
that brings some very negative responses. I know we've only got a minute left, but let me give you the minute, Assistant DA.
This is the kind of message that we need to give. The contest was put forward out of our Legal Lives program for fifth graders, and as they indicated, their teacher, working with all the other kids, sent out not just this message, but all the other kids in the classroom. And that's the kind of grassroots thing that we need to do. We need to get the kids learning about the problem, using their artistic ability to be able to communicate to other kids so that it's not a negative thing. There are many times when I'll go into a school, and as an adult talking to them, they'll relate a little. But when you have young people like this using those creative juices and a wonderful teacher guiding them and getting it into a professional piece, they automatically win. I mean, we all win when they win.
And when your parents bring to the table violins that we can play, we have brilliance. And that really is, it takes a village to change the world. And we have a wonderful village, and I see beautiful, and it's so, we have wonderful family and support in the community.
I want to thank you all for being on Brooklyn 45 to discuss bullying. Malachi, I know that your poem is it on the internet as well?
Not yet.
No.
Not yet. Okay, we're going to make sure that we get you back in here and we record it and we get it on the internet, because we did have you here a few weeks ago.
Yes,
So we're going to
last
invite you back to hear your program. Nairan and Jeremiah, great job.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to go to the website and we're going to check you out. And we hope that your message really is convincing enough to stop bullying. And that's the word. Well, that's my end of Brooklyn 45. Let's hear from our young academic achievers and Sharon Rose.
Good afternoon, good evening. This is Ashley Harris. We're here for the Young Academic Achievers Program. And tonight we have with us Ashley. She's a student at Midwood High School, and she's going to tell us all about herself and her accomplishments that make her so exemplary as a young academic achiever. Ashley, welcome to Brooklyn 45, Young Academic Achievers.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Ashley, as you all know, and I go to Midwood High School, and I'm a senior. I just recently got accepted to Post in Connecticut for a lacrosse scholarship, and I also got accepted to Robert Morris University in Chicago for a lacrosse scholarship. I like to play sports. I love to go to church. I'm a Seventh-day Adventist Christian, and I also love family because they're the ones that bring you up and help you in the community, and they're the ones that help you reach for the stars, and they're the ones that are behind you all the time, pushing you to go forward. Recently, I received a Future Star Award for being #1 on my lacrosse team, and my sophomore year, I also received the Most Promising Sophomore Award for the sophomores, and I'm a first-degree black belt. I love karate because art is really nice, and it teaches you discipline and how to defend yourself when you're in trouble. And I also say a lot of sermons in my church. And
you preach?
Yes, I do.
So are you an aspiring preacher?
Well, not quite, but I just like getting the message to other people, just trying to tell them that Jesus is alive, and he is coming back to save us, so we better get our act together quickly so he could make it into the kingdom of heaven.
Wow, yeah, that's a good message. And apart from telling the good news, what are you aspiring to become as you finish your education, as you pursue your career?
Well, as of now, I'm hoping to get into Binghamton University, and then after that, hoping to go to grad school, and then probably be an ophthalmologist, because in my family home, my mom is blind, so she's the one who kind of pushed me to become that, because there's a lot of problems going on in our home, and me thinking about all the other families who have that problem, I want to make a difference.
Tell us about some of the challenges you've had and when it started, and how you overcame those challenges and continue to do your best in school.
Okay. I left junior high school, Suffolk Junior High School in Bay Ridge, when I was about 13 years old. With a 99.18 average, I was very happy, and I was going off into high school with a nice start. But as a freshman year, my mom became blind because diabetes destroyed her quickly, and her retina in her left eye detached. So she's completely blind in her left eye, and it's fading quickly in her right eye. So it made it a little bit more difficult for me because school at that time started around 7:30 in the morning, and I had to wake up extra early to make sure she had food on the table because she can't go near fire or any hazards. And
take care of the family.
Exactly.
So you had to take over all the responsibilities of the home.
Yes.
Taking care of your mother.
Yes, it was a burden, but yes, I do have a younger sister who also goes to Midwood High School now and who's going to be on the volleyball team.
Great.
But at the time, it was a little bit stressful because I was 14, which 14-year-old wants that kind of stress on their back. But it was a tough struggle. My grades did slip. It went down to around 83 average. But then as of junior year, when I kind of reconnected with my family and the Lord, I kind of realized that joy does come in the morning and brighter days will come. And that's when I started receiving blessings. I started receiving Most Promising Sophomore Award. I started receiving the Future Star Award. And I did go to Connecticut to meet different girls, play against different girls.
Okay, wonderful, Ashley. And lacrosse, that is not something that most people go after. And from what I understand from your coach's recommendation, you're a lacrosse champion.
Yes, not only do I love running, but I do like attacking the cage, and I do like defense a lot. I just like the sport because it's different.
And what advice do you have for other young people who might be, in high school to be able to stay focused and achieve?
Even though it may not seem like you're going anywhere as of now because you're very young, hard work, dedication, determination, drive does start paying off as of now. When you get older, let's say 22 or 23, all of that thing that you practiced in the past will benefit you in the future.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you for your inspiring words, Ashley. And we're so glad to have you on Young Academic Achievers. And we hope to be hearing good things from you in the future.
Thank you.
Okay, and I hope you do get into Binghamton.
Thank you.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. That's all we have tonight on Brooklyn 45. Thank you for viewing.